Let's take a look at creating a SketchData RDC or a replaceable dynamic component. These are a special version of the existing SketchUp dynamic component, so some basic understanding of SketchUp DCs is helpful. In the case of cabinet pulls, when a new pull definition is selected, the extension actually replaces the existing component with a new component from a file location on your computer. That's why we call them replaceable. While it switches out the component, it keeps the necessary attributes and formulas specific to the original component. In this video, we'll create some simple knob geometry and update an existing RDC knob component and then save it to a new name. The final step is to create a 600 by 400 pixels image to display on the selection dialog form. To help us lay out the new pull geometry, we'll start our modeling with a SketchUp file for RDC cabinet pulls. This file can be found on the SketchData website under Downloads on the menu. The file starts with the default knob pull already in place, located on a typical drawer front. We'll bring in the geometry for the new pull from another file. Remove the existing geometry, and then rename the component. In this example, we insert the new geometry using just a cut-paste from another SketchUp session. But SketchUp has many other methods we could use. Click into the front component to allow selecting of the pull dynamic component. When we're renaming the component, it's important we change the name on both the component definition and the name on the dynamic component attributes. This allows the extension to check if the correct version of the component is being used when switching out the RDC. Once we've inserted the new geometry, it should be a SketchUp group. Then we need to assign dynamic component formulas to the group, placing it correctly in the parent knob component. We'll need to add formulas on the positions of X, Y, Z. Then the same for the length sizes. Then finally the rotations on all three axes. Making any necessary changes to formulas to get the correct location. And removing the old pull geometry group, since it's no longer needed. Now, we need to save the new component to the default folder of the other RDC pulls. Let's open up the SketchData settings dialog and copy the path for that folder location. Making sure we've clicked into the front and have the SD pull selected. We can now save the new component to that location by pasting the default path into the File Explorer dialog. Make sure to update the file name to the new component name. Here, knob default becomes knob post. We can now create the image that will display on the Globals dialog form when selecting the pull. Switch to the image scene in SketchUp. This aligns the view with the same perspective as other existing pulls. Then we can save a PNG image file using the same name as the new component. We want this image to be in the Images subfolder of the default RDC pull folder, making sure the file name matches the name of the new component. In this example, knob_post.png. Now, when we open the Globals dialog, we'll see this image when we're selecting the new pull. The image file that SketchUp creates will need some editing to make it look like the images of the other pulls. A third-party program like Paint.net is a great tool to crop and stretch the PNG into the correct size and look. But having the images match creates a consistent look when we're switching between the pulls. Once we have the images looking good on the Globals dialog window, we can test the new pull on a few cabinets. We'll open the Globals window, select the new pull, then save the changes. We can also add a new material to the model. Let's look for a color that looks something like brass. And make sure the pole changes color when we select that material. Thank you for watching. For more information and other videos, please visit our website and YouTube channel. If you still have any questions, please send us an email at info@sketchdata.com.